considered a laboratory accident. But two, Dr. Shai and Peter solved the coronavirus successfully handily. Your soul does not exist. That's what you tell to people. When you say that God does not exist, I don't believe to God. It means that you don't believe to your soul, and your soul doesn't exist. It's real because your soul is left. Because you didn't stop the virus. The virus is already present. So the only one way you can stop the virus is the vaccine. These people, why are they abandoning to the lion's claws? And responsible. Hello everyone and welcome to my channels. You all know that the coronavirus is one of the simplest way to understand the reincarnation process. Why are all these people losing lives? Where are they going? When will they come back? What to do to avoid this negative pressure of this coronavirus? We all know that the SARS-CoV-2 is a human creation and classified in the list of ruthless disasters. As the author of a prophetic book, My Dream, the Book of Vision, I have dreamed about the coronavirus origin and spread. Knowing that dreams help us understand future actions and situations, I always give my attention to my dreams and do my best to understand issues. Reason why I always base myself on my interpretation, which improve every day. If every human could understand that dreams are a part of the human constitution, they will get rid of the comic burden very easily and purify the earth by creating very good food and vibrations. At the beginning of this pandemic, I dreamed that I was all alone in a bus, well protected and secured against anything that could happen. That's really the expression of the ascension of a sexual purification and karma cleaning, being in the bus protected. It's the expression of a great divine factor, a clean man in the Jesus way. So, in my coronavirus dream, I looked through the windows and saw angry people dressed like South African Zulus who released lions to humans without mercy. These lions were so fierce that they devoured every human around. They were killing mercilessly, and it had created a panic that made people run everywhere. Left to right, east to west, north to south. No human could resist the strength and weakness of these lions. That was my dream. And as the lions scattered from one corner to another, killing humans, then something caught my attention. It was a big lion snatching a little child from its mother's hands. That lion was so powerful directly the child with it. They pushed it to the ground where much blood was spilling. The child was so bloody that I could no longer bear to see him die in such circumstances. I turned around the bus where I could see lions still devouring men and women. So I said to myself, who can free these people? Why are they abandoned to the lion's claws? And on the other side, I saw the same Zulus people who had three lions looking in the same direction of the child who was being devoured by a lion. So they felt guilty and responsible for what was going on. They decided to recall back lion before the child was killed. Dears, I know that you understand perfectly my dream, as lions represent the virus of SARS COVID-2, called by COVID-19, and release it by killing humans on purpose. But the key question in my dream is, why only Zulus from South Africa? The child who was torn from his mother and was being devoured, what does he represent? Why am I alone on the bus? In fact, I had always seen South Africans as valiant, intelligent, and strategic fighters. But that is the past. They are actually unsociable, unfit, obnoxious to other humans. And one of the particular aspects that rely on them in my dream is that they are conservative and supremacist against their own brothers. They have the same characteristic as the daring, wealthy supremacists who are responsible for funding the demonic project that are destroying millions of people, COVID-19. They think that possessing billions of dollars makes them lead humans' life. They gotta be crazy. So you killing millions of people with silent weapons such as Ebola, coronavirus, H5N1, modified, Marburg, dengue, HIV. All these viruses confirm two ways of killing. First, some were created in the lab by scientists financed by those millionaires in order to create massacres against certain countries, continents, race. When appropriate scientists always pretended to contain the virus so that there will not be the risk of leakage. But why did you create a mutant based on the avian influenza virus? I mean, that was only created to kill humans. It came from animals. It was an animal virus. But you stupid, you create an idea from your laboratory modifying animals' viruses to human contamination. That's what you did. You disobeying the divine and natural laws. You studied on plants and animals mutation and now trying on humans killing. You use your mutate animals to contaminate humans as if the virus resurged in humans unaffected them for being in touch with domesticated animals, free roaming animals. They become a recalcitrant source of this pandemic. Here is your theory. Wild animals infect many domesticated and captive creatures such as dog, cats, gorillas, horse, which infect human in the other hand. So, your conclusion is outbreaks in farms have confirmed that infected animals infect humans. When crazy scientists are thieves and thieves meddlers remove themselves from the list, then play the role and then say wild animal probably brought the coronavirus to humans. Supposedly, strong evidence suggests that the virus originated in Osteobet, scientifically coded by Rhinolopus iposideros. Please, dears, what I'm going to explain to you is that the scientific name of the osteobacter is Rhinolopus iposideros. From Latin to English is translated as meningite. Check it on Google. So, scientifically, the coronavirus is from a meningite process, meaning that someone is in charge of this pandemic. This is what the scientific name you gave us. Some people manage it. They run it as they run their weapons factories. When you're killing each other, they're making money. They allow themselves to make up disease, viruses, and poisons to supposedly reduce the number of inhabitants on this planet, with all disease outside of divine and natural law. Wealthy billionaires often allow themselves to create the unbelievable. This madness, man. Like UFO do not exist and could only exist if you continue creating your low thought, materializing them into shaping. But never forget that you will be responsible for your creations, which will hold you back for thousands of years in the abyss. And after that, you will come back to heaven to suffer consequences of your creations. As those poor rich people who adventure out in life without understanding their destinies. They invent with the evil anything that destroys the human race. Then they're thinking that life is a game. Imagine starting from war, famines, fires or conflagrations, spills, epidemic. Humans are always in the origin of these disasters, then ends up on living their creations. The death, which leads you in a karmic burden, chaining for thousands of years in abyss, then coming back to pay for your sadness. There are real disasters such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, tsunamis, floods, wildlife drought. One of the important key of the organization of climate change, which requires new measures to avoid the activation of disasters. Look, more than 7,348 natural disasters were recorded between the year of 2000 and 2019, between 90 years. Almost twice as many as in the previous 2 decades. 1980 to 1999, a phenomenon due to the explosion in the number of climate disasters, floods, storms, drought, forest fires, extreme heat waves. These 20 years have caused over 1.2 million deaths. Concretely, the 3 most devastating years were 2004, 2008, and 2010. The event that claimed the most victims was 2004, the tsunami in the Indian Ocean, faced with the earthquake in Haiti in 2010. Then, the cyclone Nargis in Myanmar. Geographically, the most heavily affected continent remained Asia, ahead of the American continent and Africa. And the 5 most affected countries are China with 578 events, United States 467, India 321, Philippines 304, and Indonesia 278 events. For the United Nations, no need to go far to identify the culprit. It is a global warning. The United Nations therefore urge states to step up the fight in this area. So, understand that China knows very well disasters. There's nothing new. That's why they hide everything, such as the origin, the beginning alarm, numbers of death toll. They hide everything. When you directly or indirectly in what destroy your feelings, you are responsible for the sin which has always been introduced to you in your dream by God. When natural disasters are coming to fulfill the negative karma connection with over 100,000 people perishing in natural disaster every year, then other humans are creating disasters in their way, thinking that they're helping the revolutionary based lifestyle for a certain race of humans. Remember that we have to send all our prayers, purifications, positive and great thought to all humans who lost their lives and are still not able to reincarnate once more and make their ascension. They have completed 90 years old, 90 years ago. From July 1931, people from China had suffering for excessive rainfall, the most deadly natural disaster in the world history. The Yangtze River overtopped its banks as spring tsunami, mingled with over 24 inches or 600 millimeters of rain that fell. This means that some people are 90 years lost in their abyss, paying their sins from China. They really need our help. Look, our beloved friends from China had suffered too many disasters, what they call by Qingyang, Xianying, Aaron, Zhengchuan, meaning that natural and man-made disasters where you can see mountain village flooding, typhoons. Know that natural disasters are major adverse events resulting from a natural process of the earth, such as drought, flood, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, hurricane, tsunamis, floods, droughts, rainstorms. There are real disasters. Man-made disasters are also caused by humans' action or inaction, such as explosion, wildfires, viruses, high drop and rise of temperature or extreme weather, terrorist attack. The United States has a geographic extension of disasters that would not escape and spare no one from its own karma. Like in Florida, there are hurricanes. In New York and North Carolina, there are cyclones. In Oklahoma, there are tornadoes. In San Francisco, there are earthquakes. In Wyoming and Washington, there are volcanoes, and so on. When the Yuan Institute in China has the answer that families and all these approximately 12 millions of people died from coronavirus are still waiting. China, what really happened? Where does this deadly virus come from? We all know that your research leads to tragic manipulation and makes you experiment with unbelievable things, preventing some deaths with many deaths. But all your results are failures because you kill more than the natural way of death, and you'll be responsible for that. Never mind. God always gives a free choice, and this is your time. You're a billionaire now, but your neighbor was last until it was late to realize that vanity of vanities. Say the preachers, all is vanity. Even if they have weapons pointed on you, money use it to lock you down, or human power exists over you to get you stuck in order to stop any good well-being and safety tentative of increase the vibration of the nation. Just think about a Dr. Hyphen Revelation. She's the director of the emergency department of the Yuan Central Hospital in China. I'm very surprised when I see our European brothers doing many street demonstrations, working against the vaccines while the virus is already present. In addition, it is the French people who are protesting against vaccine. It's really funny. The French Research Pasteur Institute is the most city in this business of the development of the animal viruses to adapt to human. It is true that the COVID-19 was triggered in China, but we all know that the scientists who developed the virus had no intention to let it escape from the laboratory. Only three things can be confirmed. One, the SARS-CoV-2 escaping or leaking from Wuhan lab without control of Dr. Shai, called by the Bat Lady from China, and Peter Daszak, a zoologist of EcoHealth Alliance from United Kingdom. This is considered a laboratory accident. But two, Dr. Shai and Peter solved the coronavirus successfully handily. made on SRS-CoV-2, but I'm not pretty sure on this. As I always depend on my dreams, when people appearing such as like South African Zulus releasing lions to humans for the only one reason: massacres, killing, destroying. 3. Or the last point, in the successful COVID-19 manipulation was stolen by a demonic. I can remember the former French president had spoken of the overpopulation dividing 2.5 billion inhabitants in 1955 and 219. He assumed that we are 7 billion, while predicting that we'll be more than 9 billion in 250. He believes that we will be 11 billion human on this planet at the end of the century. He then thought that the climate problem was not the solution, since the biggest global shock would be the demographic problem. He even minimized these climate change disasters that have killed millions of people. As the demographic shock is too strong, Mr. Sarkozy assumes that in 30 years, Nigeria will have more inhabitants than United States. And Africa, which is now 1.2 billion inhabitants, will have 2.5 billion at the end of the century. And he confirms that the migration crisis has not yet started. It's coming. It was like a friend, I remember, at university, who had gone to do his medical internship in a military hospital. After a while, he should go to the maternity ward, the kid born. It was his biggest nightmare, because all pregnant women gave birth very easily and quickly. So he looked at his doctor and asked her, "You have not seen vagina yet. There are big vaginas here." So it's like Mr. Sarkozy had just said that there will be a lot of immigrants in this year coming. According to him, 22 million of people who consume will do more damage than 1 million who consume poorly. Its conclusion is to reduce the world population, especially of the less developed countries with strong demographic growth, because they will migrate. But one thing is sure, that the ignorance of divinity causes you to do foolish calculation. Yeah. Do you really believe that these people from Africa, Arab East, have more kids only on sexual feelings? Like there is as if they were obvious to their financial and moral situation. Do you really think that the existing fertility in Africa is due to sexual pleasures? Do you think that African parents have kids like dogs? It is only your lack of knowledge. You become so limited that you will seek to invent a human. Just do it. A perfect human, you think. You are already pairing trees, animals, even rocks. So go make a man. Go make a man in there. Indeed, Sarkozy's prediction is true. There will be more human beings in the future, more immigrants and asylum seekers for only one reason. You don't want to ascend into light. Your grandmother who taught you that God does not exist is already back in Syria paying all sins. Your mother who made you a firearm killer is in the abyss paying for her sins. They will come reincarnate in Somalia to pay for her sins. They will come here to ask for asylum. Do you think that locking borders will be the solution to keep her out? Here you are all stuck in the atmosphere of the earth. No way to ascend toward the divine light, our origin. Please, change your mind. The earth population will reduce only when more people will ascend into the divine light. You invent firearms, viruses, disasters, massacres without knowing that all your victims never rise. They remain stuck in the lowest sphere, the abyss, where they pay for their act by suffering torment, pains. Then they will come back to earth to pay a second time and try again to ascend to the highest sphere, to God. That's why they prefer to be born where they'll be teaching God's words. As long as you ignore God, the Creator, you will come back to it on earth. Believe it or no, it is the law. Everything is paid here on earth. Why are you surprised to see the number of humans increasing here on earth? But don't you see more humans leaving this earth without knowing their destination? They're just dying? What place do you think they go to? Just a simple question. Where are all these 4 million people who died with coronavirus? Where are all Americans who died this year, 2021, with this pandemic? So, do you think that you send them to heaven or there with angels? Please don't make me cry, man. Don't make me cry. They are confining in this earth atmosphere, suffering for sorrow and desolation. Then hell. Do you think that keeping this rotten body in the mausoleum is a symbol of gratitude to your beloved? They no longer need it. Just as you will no longer need this physical body that you eat more than your soul. Poor idiot. Most of those who built this country, United States, are now in Africa, in India, Iraq, Syria, which they have freely chosen to easily pay their karmas and step into the divine light. And if you still ask yourself the question of why there are more births in Africa, then learn that those who were in the abyss, in hell, use it to come back to pay for their sins. All the unpaid karma before their ascension. Remember, there will come back even more people, billions of people, because there are many who died in sins without even a prayer. Don't think that you'll be back here in the United States. No, never. Come on. Where is DMX? Where is Kobe Bryant? John Davis? Linda Torres? Ron Riggs? Oscar Serra? Matt George? Biz Marcus? Gift of Gab? Lisa Barnes? John Gabriel? Where is Mr. Kenzo? Kenzo Takada? Nick Cordero? Roy Hall? Where is the Black Panther, my man? Chadwick Boseman? 3 African presidents have died in the last 6 months. Where are their souls? Remember that when you lose your life by a comic way, you lock it in this atmosphere. But you in air. Then they'll have to come back. So, Mr. Sarkozy and all of you must therefore raise your vibration toward God to make room for others. They'll have to come back, believe it or no. Otherwise, you'll be among these 11 billion predicted to share this earth. And you seem to be among those who created this plot to exterminate human, but this is impossible because there is a certain force that you can't control. Only God is the master of time and circumstances. Remember, in 1922, about 99 years ago, remember, 1,500,000 of Armenians were killed, and 900,000 Greeks killed in the same year in Turkey. In 1923, around 750,000 of Assyrians killed in genocide. In 1941, 500,000 killed in Bosnia. In 1945, approximately 76 years ago, around 6 million of Jewish population of Europe killed. 3 million of Polish killed, and 500,000 of Romani people killed. In 1971, about 3 million, 4% of East Pakistan population were killed. In 1979, 3 million of people from Cambodia and Vietnam killed. In 1994, 800,000 of Tutsis killed in Rwanda, and 40,000, which is around 3% of Bosnian population, perished in war. In 1988, 182 killed in Iraq, and 1991, 200,000 killed in Somalia. In 1996, around 232,000 of Congolese from Democratic Republic of Congo killed, and a total of 166,000, around 40% of Maya population of Guatemala killed. In 2017, 43,000 of Rohingyas were killed in Myanmar. Considering only high numbers of killing in this actual century, the total number is around 20 million of people killed only in genocide. 20 million. But there are also 50 million died with the Spanish flu pandemic. So, my friend, stop your bullshit. Just go get the vaccine. There's no better solution. We all know that. There was the approval of American scientists and the financing of American billionaires in their involvement of the European and Chinese governments, which seat is named for the accomplishment of this comic project, coronavirus. Brothers from Europe, when you let your children play with fire, expect a burn. And when that happens, you just have to do the healing to avoid the worst. And this cure is nothing other than the vaccines. Stop crying like a little baby. You won't understand her mother pain. No! Zulus from my dream spread the virus anywhere they want. They decide where, when, and how they're gonna spread the coronavirus. From China to Europe, then New York, then France, then India, Brazil, Mexico, South Africa. It's manipulated, man. We're already in. We're already in. So let's take the vaccine. It's too late to complain. I was never contaminated with COVID-19, and I was vaccinated since the vaccine was available. Check my name. You will not find it. Remember, the venom of a snake bite is cured by the same venom. If it is true that they invented this virus and we were unable to catch them, then why refusing their vaccines? This is how to refuse the cure through the venom of the snake after being stung. One thing is true, that they did not accept this very cruel barbary from humans. They were taken by unexpected overtaking. Finally, they have greatly enriched themselves. Yeah. They have multiplied their wealth to 1,000%. But then, for how long will them have this dirty money for their expense? What do they really want to buy? What do they really want to achieve? This is their weakness. They're limited. Their thoughts are so poor that they now see opportunities in trivia like UFO, trips to the galaxies, too much. Forgetting that we make these travels almost every day in our dreams without needing the rockets. And they're real because there will never be a crush. When we dream about a travel, a trip, man, this is real. You're really traveling, and your trip was better than the one they're doing now. They're fucking spending those money because they get it illegally. And remember, they're gonna spend all their life with money in their mind. So the soul will be beside, watching and waiting them last day them last breath. When depositing the human body, the soul will come back to pay. Reason why, when you get this opportunity to be born, like in Donald Trump family, shit, man. The best way you can do for your life is to ascend. Because all the shit you're doing, do your best to never die. Because as soon as you will deposit in that human body, shit, that soul will suffer. And that soul is you. I really mean it. That soul will really suffer in the abyss. It may suffer more than 200 or 400 years. Just suffering. Imagine for one day, you never even been without food, water. It's nothing. Imagine the opportunity you really have now. Just think what you really have. Can you compare yourself to a child from a war country, like in the east of the RC, where they killed all the parents, all family members? Hey, you just watch that, sees how all these family members died. Do you think that it was God, the Creator, who makes him suffer that? No! When that child was here on earth in his last reincarnation, in his last life, he made too much shit like you're doing. He killed. He made pressure to people. He thought that he was the head of the world. And now, it's not the same body. That's why, don't think that your body is so special. No, it's your soul. Because your body is perishable. But your soul remains. You have been somewhere. You can remember, you can see that from your dream. I've seen too many things. You can see that. And now you are here in the United States. Scenario? You're a boss. You're calling the shots. And just buying guns. Great. You're a superhero for yourself. But where is the soul? You don't even have your soul with you. So you're not better than the child who is in Pakistan, in China, or wherever, with his soul working. Don't be stupid. I don't want to hear people in the United States, in Europe, saying that God does not exist. That's crazy. You just meaning that your soul does not exist. That's what you tell to people. When you say that God does not exist, I don't believe to God. It means that you don't believe to your soul, and your soul doesn't exist. It's real because your soul is left. You're soulless. Remember, take the vaccines because you didn't stop the virus. The virus is already present. So the only one way you can stop the virus is the vaccine. Let's take the vaccines and return to the normal life to make our ascension. It's not just to do your life the way you want, because people are thinking about drinking, smoking, eating, all this shit. Think about your God. Think about you. You are a creature, a God creature. Thank you very much. God bless you.